What are the Hunger Games for?
So, one thing you probably know really well about the world of the Hunger Games is that unless it's a quarter quell, the rules are simple. Only children between the ages of 12 and 18 can compete. But casting for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes wasn't even close to as strict. One of these teenagers is bridging on 30. Honestly, these age gaps are gonna surprise you.
From District 12, Lucy Gray Baird.
Lucy Gray Baird is supposed to be 16, and during filming, actor Rachel Ziegler was already 21. That's a 5-year difference. Rachel never had to even audition for the role. The director of the original trilogy, Francis Lawrence, already knew he wanted her to play Lucy, but she initially turned it down, saying,
"I wanted to disappear,"
because she was away from everybody that she knew and loved, so she said no. However, she did have something else in the pipeline that fell through. So she put her name back into the mix after they already auditioned.
I feel really bad for any of the girls who had.
Now, despite the age gap, she does have a more charming demeanor that Francis describes as the anti-Katniss. It's a demeanor that makes her seem a bit younger than Jennifer Lawrence portraying Katniss.
There's a natural goodness built into us all.
Even if there was only a 4-year gap between J-Law and the girl on fire, but they'd still be friends.
I have not talked to Jennifer Lawrence, but if she wants to call me, we can hang out anytime.
It's a new Coriolanus, it's one we haven't seen before.
We get some pretty baby-face mentors in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is in stark contrast to Haymitch from the original trilogy. Coriolanus Snow is 18 years old in the prequel.
It's an originated kind of young version of him.
But the actor playing him, Tom Blythe, was 27 years old at the time of filming. That's a difference of 9 years. I don't know about you, but that wise demeanor doesn't scream 18 to me.
The fans have a lot of expectations of what they want to see, and I hope I honor that.
And speaking about the books, Tom says,
although they're young adult entertainment, there are layers to it.
Now we'll swing back around to Snow in a minute, but first, Euphoria's Hunter Schafer is playing the role of 21-year-old Tigress Snow, Coriolanus' cousin in the prequel. Hunter was 23 during filming. That's just a 2-year age gap between actor and character. Not so bad. But where things get mind-blowing is that Eugenie Bondurant played the role in Mockingjay in 2013, and she would have been in her early 50s, playing an 86-year-old. That's a discrepancy of over 30 years. But hey, it's probably pretty safe to assume the Capitol's big on plastic surgery.
Everybody in the cast is wonderful, including Josh Andre Rivera. Hi, honey.
District 2 mentor Sejanus Plinth is also around 18 years old during the 10th annual Hunger Games. He's played by 26-year-old Josh, who's just a few months younger than Tom. Now that's a gap of 8 years between Josh and his character. Now, okay, we know that one should never say a lady's age. However, Viola Davis was cast appropriately. Finally, we've found one! Dr. Volumnia Gaul is supposed to be in her 50s, and Viola hits it out of the ballpark being just 56 at the start of filming. However, with the level of unhinged they're portraying her as, it feels like it's adding a few good years. Hey, maybe it's just stress.
I'm trying to scare the bejesus out of these kids. And I don't know if it's gonna work.
Jason Schwartzman plays Lucky Flickerman in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And for those of you who maybe saw the movie trailer and grew concerned, no, Lucky is not the same guy from the 74th Hunger Games. That's Caesar Flickerman. Lucky is probably Caesar's dad, but we don't have proof. But we can make an educated Nepo baby guess given the name, similar looks, and job title.
After I get over that quick thing of, wow, really? Then I totally can see it, and it does make sense.
Now, the fun continues as Jason got to learn magic for the role. Jason was 41 when they started filming. Now, we don't know how old his character is, but we do have more info on Caesar, which should give us insight into Lucky. Stanley Tucci was 50 during the filming of The Hunger Games, but his character Caesar Flickerman was supposed to be in his 70s or 80s. Stanley Tucci and Caesar have an incredible age gap of between 20 and 39 years. Now, to get back to figuring out Lucky's age, Caesar would have had to have been at least 6, and could have been as old as 25 during the events of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But let's assume Caesar's middle of the range and was about 16 years old during the 10th Hunger Games. Jason Schwartzman was perfectly cast at 41 years old, being about 25 when he had his son Caesar. Now, of course, this all relies on the theory that they are in fact father and son. So there's not a whole lot of info about Nick Benson and his portrayal of the District 12 male tribute Jessup Diggs yet, but I thought it was worth mentioning that there's an age gap of 10 years between Jessup and Nick. That's right, Nick was 28 when they filmed, and his character's only supposed to be 18. Let's compare that to the District 12 male tribute from the 74th Hunger Games. 16-year-old Peeta was portrayed by 18-year-old Josh Hutcherson, an age gap of just 2 years. Not many of our characters from the original trilogy were even born by the 10th Hunger Games. But our central character, the reason for the prequel existing, is Coriolanus Snow, originally played by Donald Sutherland. He was 75 when he started filming for the Hunger Games in 2011. Snow had to be 82 around the time of the 74th Hunger Games, and surprisingly, there was actually less of an age gap between Donald and Snow than there is between Tom and Snow. 7 years versus 9. Even Liam Hemsworth was just 21, playing an 18-year-old in the OG trilogy. While I am obsessed with everything I've seen so far for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I can't help but wonder why the teenagers in the prequel are portrayed by considerably older actors. The fact is, you can never please everyone. Were you surprised by some of their age differences? Let me know in the comments.